Hey, good morning. It is time. Okay, looks like we're live everywhere. Time for Tara and Guanyin practice. Yesterday it went so well that we chanted to Tara that we're going to do that, I think, for the rest of the month. And I just want to, may I show you to the friends? I just want to show you. Oh, she says, no, I don't want to be on TV. But she's right here purring away. Maybe just for 1 sec. No, she says no. No, I'm here. Look at her belly. So round. Okay, enough. She's little Miss Purr and Cuddle. Minerva is little Miss Purr and Cuddle. She wants to hang out. She wants to, every time she eats, then she wants to have a little cuddle. She's just doing so great. So it's nice to see you. Thank you for coming and for being here for us to do our practice today. Let's dive right in. We've got today Tara number 3, the giver of supreme virtue. And interestingly, the other ones, it lists her name, her specific name, but this one doesn't. So I'll look it up and I'll post a link so that we have it. Tara, giver of supreme virtue, green Tara of impeccable virtue. Praise her, the one with a body of molten gold. Her hand is adorned with a blue lotus flower, engaged in the 6 perfections, generous and virtuous, diligent and peaceful, patient and meditative. The blue lotus, the Utpala, is also known as the Nalini flower. This flower blooms only at night. It is often used to illustrate the yogini or yogin who turns away from the world of illusion, the daytime world of the marketplace. Here, beings seek their satisfaction in things of the world, constantly engaged in attachments and aversions, resulting in lives of constant dissatisfaction. The yogini turns to the night when the marketplace is closed. She turns into her own heart to find the light of wisdom and understanding that things, people, and places are all impermanent and therefore never completely satisfying. Complete satisfaction is to be found in the heart of wisdom, which can only arise in a clear and stable mind. It is the practice of virtue, a deep understanding that bringing harm to others brings instability, fear, and guilt to the mind. Acts that benefit others enrich and empower the mind. The mind cannot be peaceful if it is in the grasp of mental defilements, grasping, greediness, laziness, attachment, aversion, distorted ideas, etc. In classical Buddhist teachings, virtue is epitomized by the 6 paramitas, or perfections. Of the 6, only 5 are listed here. Generosity and patience are 2 of the greatest methods of strengthening and purifying the mind. The virtue, so generosity and patience, the virtue referred to here is based on a willingness to see what is really needed in every situation to bring the best out in people. In some situations, we are encouraged to be soft and yielding. In other situations, we may be called upon to speak out, having no personal agenda other than the wish to bring benefit, never to harm. We must be diligent in persevering in the path of the Dharma, no matter what obstacles arise, and cultivating the skill of meditative absorption brings the mind to a state of peacefulness. Out of this clarity, the 6th perfection of insight arises. So, generosity, patience, virtue, diligence, meditative absorption, and insight are the watchwords for this form of Tara. Tara with the Utpala flower, the blue lotus. And let's see what our divination is from the Dharma cards. You want to come pick the card? Today, we have emptiness. And it's number 31. Let me just look it up. And here is, his face looks like Padmasambhava, but he's not wearing the usual ornaments of Padmasambhava, and he's got a musical instrument. So maybe it's Padmasambhava. It really looks like him in the face. But it could be a different one of the protector kings. Good morning. Good morning. Thanks for saying hi, folks. So, those who practice awareness will find their way. They become like snowy mountain peaks and they rise high. Those who live in forgetfulness are like arrows shot into the night. They pass through life but reach nowhere. Meditate, deepen your silence, be watchful, and enjoy your empty mind. And the key word today is emptiness. Don't be worried, Buddha says. You will find your way. You will reach the great peaks of experience as you become more aware. This is the Dharma. It is the law that governs existence. Those who jump into the river will reach the other shore. Those who embark on the journey to learn who they are will discover the truth of their existence. Buddha says again and again that you should not believe, so it is difficult to get from where you are now. The mountain peaks are far away. The journey is long, and it is not easy. You will find yourself alone, and at times you will be afraid. How can you travel if you don't believe? Instead of believing, trust, says the Buddha. I think this is really key. There's a difference between belief and trust. Belief is sort of like, the difference to me as a practitioner between belief and trust, and I'm not perfect, but maybe this is helpful for someone. The difference for me between belief and trust is believing seems sort of reserved for something that I don't have any evidence of, don't have any proof of, kind of imaginary, but I'm hopeful about. Whereas trust is born of me actually having evidence that a practice works, that people have done it, that the goals can be attained. So I don't, believe that I could, I can't, but I don't believe that I could run a mile, because that would sort of imply that no one's done it, but maybe one day someone will. Whereas I trust that I could run a mile if I had a good coach and if I put my mind to it. Why? Because other people have done it. I can see people doing it. I can see the evidence of it in the world. I know that there's a path. I would probably need a coach or at least an app, and then I could run a mile. Having that trust is really rooted in observing how things are actually happening, as opposed to belief, which is rooted in something more imaginary. So instead of believing, trust, says the Buddha. Meditate and be watchful. You will not go astray if your intentions are true. Trust. Trust arises from your heart. Your heart will lead you back when your mind is confused, and your heart will bring you back when you go astray. All of us have our times when we want to throw in the towel, when we're like, yeah, whatever, yeah, Buddha, whatever. Easy for you to say. Actually, it was not easy for him to say. He only said what he said because he had experiences. Same with, any of the Buddhas, Yeshe Tsogyal, for example. You know, she never asked anyone to just believe. She showed her proof that, okay, if I go meditate in this cave, I'm going to purify my karmas. Okay, if I put my faith in my trust in my path, I will not have to be married against my will. If I go ahead and follow this man who I mysteriously have met and feel is my soulmate for lifetimes, I'm going to go ahead and take that step and trust. And at every turn that she trusted herself and she trusted her own innate nature, she was able to manifest miracles. Except they're not miracles, they're the natural result of her magical ability that was honed through work. So place trust in your work. Place trust in your own goodness. Place trust in your good intentions. Place trust in the fact that there are teachers and beings who have done this before you, who know what they're doing, who knew what they were doing, and can help you if you get stuck. Place trust in the people who have earned it, who have shown you who they are again and again, and you won't go wrong. Even when things are hard, you won't go wrong. So today, no matter what, we're going to trust. And we're going to trust first ourselves and our commitment to the Buddha Dharma and to the Great Mother and to the many forms of the divine that I know we all hold, in devotion. And we're going to also take the time to try to, see the proof in the world around us, really noticing the proof in the world around us that there is a path, that the path can be walked, that other people have walked it, and that you can walk it too. That's our short bit for today, if that's what you were here for, but I hope you'll stay on. Now we're going to do the combo Tara Guanyin practice, starting with 3 prostrations before the shrine. And let's take refuge. Namo Guru Be. I take refuge in the inner teacher. Namo Buddhaye. I take refuge in the great mother of compassion. Namo Dharmaye. I take refuge in the wisdom of the ages. Namo Sanghaye. I take refuge in the community of practitioners. And let's set our intention, a person, place, situation, or circumstance that will benefit from our practice today. Today, we're still holding our sister, Hernu, who is at her home recovering. And we're also holding our sister, La Fei, and her 2 babies who were born premature, but are thriving. And let's recite the Four Immeasurables. May I be a source of loving kindness in this world and all worlds, bringing a generous heart to all my thoughts and doings. May I be a vehicle of compassion in this world and all worlds, ever mindful and aware of the tremendous suffering of others. May I be a brimming vessel of joy in this world and all worlds, delighting in the happiness of others as their suffering is alleviated. May I be a balance point of equanimity in this world and all worlds, seeing all as equals and all as deserving of goodness. And let's make our offerings. I light this candle as a symbol of the enlightening Dharma way. May it shine brightly for the benefit of all beings. I light this incense as an offering for Guan Xiyin, she who hears the cries of the world, mother of all. Omahum. 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 Reverently, I prostrate with my body, speech, and mind and present clouds of every type of offering, actual and virtual. I confess all my destructive actions accumulated since beginningless time and rejoice in the meditation of all holy and ordinary beings. Please, Guan Yin and Tara, remain until the end of samsaric existence and turn the wheel of Dharma for sentient beings. I dedicate my own merits and those of others to the great enlightenment. And now we're going to do 108 Om Tare Tutare Ture Soha. 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 Om Tare Ture Soha. Om Tare Tutare Ture Soha. Om Tare Tutare Ture Soha. Om Tare Tutare Ture Soha. Om Tare tu re so ha. 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 Om Tare Ture Soha. Om Tare Tutare Ture Soha. Om Tare Tutare Ture Soha. Om Tare Tutare Ture Soha. Om Tare Ture Soha. Om Tare Tutare Ture Soha. Om Tare Tutare Ture Soha. Om Tare Tutare Ture Soha. Om Tare Ture Soha. Om Tare Tutare Ture Soha. Om Tare Tutare Ture Soha. Om Tare Tutare Ture Soha. Om Tare Ture Soha. Om Tare Tutare Ture Soha. Om Tare Tutare Ture Soha. Om Tare Tutare Ture Soha. Om Tare Ture Soha. Om Tare Tutare Ture Soha. Om Tare Tutare Ture Soha. Om Tare Tutare Ture Soha. Om Tare Ture Soha. Om Tare Tutare Ture Soha. Om Tare Tutare Ture Soha. Om Tare Tutare Ture Soha. Om Tare Ture Soha. Om Tare Tutare Ture Soha. Om Tare Tutare Ture Soha. Om Tare Tutare Ture Soha. Om Tare Ture Soha. Om Tare Tutare Ture Soha. Om Tare Tutare Ture Soha. Om Tare Tutare Ture Soha. Om Tare Ture Soha. Om Tare Tutare Ture Soha. Om Tare Tutare Ture Soha. Om Tare Tutare Ture Soha. Om Tare Ture Soha. Om Tare Tutare Ture Soha. Om Tare Tutare Ture Soha. Om Tare Tutare Ture Soha. Om Tare Ture Soha. Om Tare Tutare Ture Soha. Om Tare Tutare Ture Soha. Om Tare Tutare Ture Soha. Om Tare Ture Soha. Om Tare Tutare Ture Soha. Om Tare Tutare Ture Soha. Om Tare Tu Tare Tu Re Soha. Om Tare Tu Re Soha. Om Tare Tu 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 Re Soha. Woo! That's such an exciting chant, isn't it? It just is like really gets the blood going. All right, so the words of Yeshet Tzogyal. Wherever there is space, 5 elements pervade. Wherever the 5 elements, the homes of living beings. Wherever living beings, karma and defilements. Wherever is defilement, my compassion also. Wherever is the need of beings, there I am to help them. To the hungry I was heaps of food and all good things, and thus I brought them joy. To the cold and freezing I was fire and sun warmth, thus their joy. To the poor and needy I was wealth and riches, thus their joy. To the naked I was every kind of raiment, thus their joy. To the childless I was sons and daughters, thus their joy. To those who sought a lover, I was a loving and attractive consort, and thus their joy. To those who wanted magic powers, I gave prowess in the 8 great cities, and thus I brought them joy. To the sick I was their remedy, and thus their joy. To the anguished I was all their mind desired, and thus I was their joy. To those hard pressed by the punishments of despots, I was the loving friend to lead them to the land of peace, and I was thus their joy. To those in fear of wild beasts, I was a haven, thus their joy. To those who fell into the depths, I was their drawing out, and thus their joy. To those tormented in the fires, I was a quenching stream, and thus their joy. To those in prey to any of the elements, I was their medicine, and thus their joy. For those who could not see, I was their eyes and brought them joy. And for those who could not walk, I was feet, and thus their joy. I was a tongue for those who could not speak, and thus I brought them joy. To those in fear of death, I granted immortality, and thus I was their joy. I led the dying on the path of transference and brought them joy. To those who wandered in the bardo state, I was their spirit guide, bringing them to joy. I cooled the burning heat and warmed the cold of those lost in the realms of hell. Howsoever they were tortured, I changed myself to shield them, being thus their joy. To those who lingered in the land of hungry ghosts, I was their food and drink, and thus their joy. I was freedom from oppression and servitude for those caught in the wordless state of beasts, and thus I brought them joy. Those beings born in places of war, I protected them from strife and brought them joy. I was a truce from endless conflict for the demigods, and was thus their joy. The jealous gods I guarded from their bitter fall, and I was thus their joy. I shielded all from everything that tortured them, and was their every joy. And now, being what's needed, sending out these energies to whoever is in need, particularly holding today La Fée and her babies and her new. And we're going to do 108 recitations of Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum, 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 Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum. 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 Om Mani Padme Mani Padme Hum. Mani Padme Hum. Om 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 Mani Padme Hum. And let's give thanks for our teachers. May all of my blessed teachers enjoy long, happy, healthy, productive lives and great support for their good works. May all beings benefit from their wisdom. May they enjoy a swift and happy rebirth. And long life prayer for Lama Dechin Yeshu Wangmo. Om Swasti. Through the powerful blessings of the immortal Pema Jungye and his consort, may the three secret qualities of the Dakini of Supreme Bliss Yeshe Wangmo be utterly stable, and may the light of her activities shine on the lotus groves of the teachings and of beings, so that they blossom in radiant splendor. And let's dedicate the merit. May the merit of this practice and all of my activities be of endless benefit to all beings in all realms, beginningless and continuous. May all obstacles be overcome and suffering cease at the sound of liberation. May all beings be free from suffering and its causes. May all beings have happiness and its causes. May we carry the essence of Guanyin in our hearts. Namo Guanxi and Pusa. Om Tare Tutare Ture Soha. We close with a bow to Guanyin, bowing to one another, and bow to the inner teacher. And I'm going to log off of YouTube and Facebook, and I'm just going to stay for a second on the Goddess Temple app so I can read these comments. Thank you, and I'll be back tomorrow. Bye.